everybody, I'm Bill Faith coming to you live from the Limo U studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm joined by my good friend Mark Petrie, who is live in Los Angeles, and this is the first episode of the Paid Traffic Show. Mark, how's everything going today, my friend?
It's great, man. I've been excited about doing this for the past couple of weeks. I can't wait
really?
to...
You sure as hell don't look very excited about this. I mean, come on. Let's get a little enthusiasm. It's all about mindset is everything. I see that right behind you on your wall,
see
right?
That?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I know you're a big believer in that as well, so...
You know what? I am so freaking fired up for this because... One, you are the King Kong of Google Ads, and we're going to combine this. This is episode 1. Mark's the expert in Google Ads. I'm going to be talking about Facebook ads. This is all about traffic, so it's not one thing, right? So when Mark and I first got started in the industry years ago, Mark, we used to get a lot of organic traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we?
Yeah, no, that was huge.
That is so hard today. It's really a pay-to-play type of game. Would you agree with that?
100%. It just, especially when you're first starting out, it just takes a long time to build that organic traffic. And so with Google ads, Bing ads, Facebook ads, you can start getting calls and responses the very next day.
Right. Exactly. That's why they call it direct response, right? So you can get immediate response to your advertising. So today we're going to focus almost everything in regards to leads, right? So Mark and I have been working on the content that we want to deliver to you guys based on the comments that we see here in the Limo Growth Group, from Mark's clients, from our clients, and the Limo University members group. So one of the problems that we see is why are leads not turning into sales, Mark? I know I have my opinion on this. What's the number one thing you think that's causing that for these people?
Well, that's a great question. And I used to think the issue was I was getting poor leads. I wasn't setting up the campaigns right. But come to find out, a lot of my clients weren't getting back to people and following up as quickly as I thought they were. And so I'm going to share some results in a little while because on Friday, I did a little secret shopper campaign because I was really curious to see what is the average response time? Are my clients calling people? Are they texting them? Are they emailing them? And then how long is it taking from when they fill out a form to when they get a response? And so the discoveries I made were very enlightening, and it makes a lot of sense now why the close rate, I think, is so low with a lot of companies.
So you ran some testing. What do you think the average response time was?
Now, for phone calls, I would say it was about an hour or so. And
wait. Hold on a second. So you tested your own clients and a phone call response was taking an hour?
Yes. There were, I think I had two, I had 2 clients that responded within 10 minutes, but keep in mind, I have over 3 dozen clients. And so, 2 out of 3 dozen, what is that? Maybe like 6% or something. Right. So not good, because you have to remember when someone's searching around, shopping around, they're searching right then. They're going from website to website. And look, the nature of the industry is that it makes it very easy for people to get lots of quotes. So complaining or thinking, oh, everyone's a tire kicker, it's just the nature of the industry. You guys aren't like a roofer that has to come out and do a quote. So people many times get lots and lots of quotes. And so when someone is searching, actively searching, filling out forms on multiple different websites, who do you think they're going to go with? Are they going to go? Everyone usually thinks, oh, it's whoever's got the lowest price. But I don't think that is the case every single time.
So I would agree with you. I think what you said is response time is the number one reason why your advertising fails. There's no question in this industry. We live in an Amazon world. We live in a cell phone world where we are always connected, and it's just way too easy for somebody to bounce over. Now, you and I have had many discussions about we see the average consumer getting between 3 to 4 quotes immediately. So what the consumer behavior is is that they're going to your landing page, your website, clicking on your ad. If they're filling out a form, then they're hitting the back button and going right back to that search result, and then they're going to the next company, hitting that page, filling out a form, trying to call, filling out a chat bot, whatever it is, coming back. Then they're clicking on another one, going back, right? That's kind of the discussions that we've had. So I remember back in the limos.com days when they would send out, you'd pay 99 cents for a lead and they'd send it to 7 or 8 competitors in the industry. And typically, man, Mark, I made sure I was the first one to respond. I'd be watching my computer. I'd come in, boom, hey, this is Bill from Silver Oak, because I knew that I was increasing my closing ratio by responding quickly. Do you agree with that methodology?
Oh, 100%, Bill. If I myself owned a limo company, that would be my number one priority, because you have to remember every single call you get, every one of those emails you get, just think of it like this. Every time someone sends you one of those quote requests, you might be paying anywhere from $20 to $50 for that, depending on how well your advertising campaigns are set up. So just imagine that comes in, pull out your wallet, hand over $20. Now, that might motivate you a little bit more when you think of it in those terms to get back to these people quickly.
So $20 to $50 for a lead. Well, most people think they need more leads. I would say that if they're not responding fast enough, and if they don't have a sales process, why would you want to pay for more leads? I would say you probably need less leads, to be honest with you. So what do you believe, specifically like in the Google ads, the PPC world that you live in, what should the process look like? What should these limousine companies be doing when they get a lead? How fast should they respond? How should they respond? Kind of what's your process that you recommend to them?
So in an ideal world, which I understand, things happen, you get stuck on phone calls with other clients. You guys are busy people. You have a lot going on, so it's not easy to get back to people quickly all the time. But in an ideal world, I would be responding to these quote requests within 5 minutes with a phone call. Okay. And some people don't answer. That is true. But many people do answer. If they do not answer, what you're going to want to do is leave them a message. And then next, you want to immediately send them a text message that says, hey, it's Mark from Clicks Limos. Do you have a moment to speak? Question mark. Wait 5 minutes. If they don't respond, then sure, you can send, a text quote, an email quote, but you really want to be getting on the phone with these people, especially when it's someone who wants a party bus for 8 hours, a $500,000 job, but even a $300 job. You want to get on the phone because you can only get so much information from a quote request form. There are many other things that you can get with an actual conversation with a person.
So, Mark, you said to call within 5 minutes. Then if you don't get a hold of somebody, follow up with a text message.
Yes.
Were you at my sales training boot camp in September? Were you like hiding out listening to my shit? Because I didn't see you here. Did you sneak in without paying?
Yeah, it's funny, Bill. No, I actually didn't see that, but I just know that someone might see the call coming in. They might not know who it's from, even though they just requested a form. It's an unknown number. And two, look, email, I think is great for corporate clients that are constantly checking their emails, but retail shoppers, they are much more usually comfortable and used to text messages.
Right.
And so that's why I think text messaging is so important.
Well, text messaging works, right? There's a reason that Grant Cardone teaches you in his sales process to have a follow-up phone call in the sales process. And whether they answer or not, even if I'm having a conversation with Mark, I'm following up with a text message before I get to following up with that quote. Would you agree? I know we both follow Grant and love a lot of his sales processes, right? So if it works for a guy to build $1 billion empire in his sales team, I think it's going to work for a limousine company as well. Plus, text is more personal, right? And it's easier. And to what you said, everything that Mark and I are talking about has to be tied to the different buyer persona. So you got to understand that what may work or not work for a travel manager is going to be different for that retail customer, for prom, night on the town, brewery tours, whatever that's going to be. You agree?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So, Mark, in the discussions that you and I have had, over the last 3 to 4 months, how important is measuring data in regards to, their ad campaigns, their sales pages, their click-throughs, their return on ad spend, ROAS? You and I could go through a million different things and confuse the shit out of these people. What's their core data they should be looking at?
Okay, so this is something that if you guys implement starting today, you can make a massive difference in how many clients you close. Number one, you want to know how many quote requests you are doing every day and where those quotes are coming from. Are they coming from Google Ads? Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from Yelp? Are they coming from your organic listings? So that's number one. How many quote requests are coming in? And number two, how many of those are you closing? And number three, what is the average ticket item? Okay. And you want to be measuring that every single day because what we want to do is we want to establish a baseline. Okay. Because if you can't measure something, you guys, I'm sure have all heard this before. If you can't measure something, it is impossible to improve it. And this stuff, I know it takes work, but if you truly want your business to grow and to succeed, you have to do the things that other business owners aren't. And after polling a lot of my clients, most companies are not doing this. How do you think Amazon is where they are at today? It would blow your mind the stuff they measure, and all of the best CEOs are typically those that are like really big into like computer engineering, computer science majors. They're obsessed with data.
I mean, yeah, they're making data-driven decisions today, whether it's financial-driven decisions, whether it's data on conversions in their SaaS company, off of their paid ads versus sales conversions off of their sales page. I agree with you 1,000%. It's all about conversion metrics. But in regards to the SMS, one thing that I think is really important for us to touch on, Lexi Tucker from LCT Magazine posted a question. When it comes to texting potential customers, are you sure they might not consider that intrusive? ? Do you ask if it's okay to text them in the contact form you provide? So Lexi, I hope after about, I guess it might have been March of last year through May, all the GDPR compliance, information that we put out to our industry, that everybody is GDPR compliant. If you are going to text somebody, it's just like email. You need to let them know when they're opting in that you will be sending them an SMS message or an email marketing so they know what's coming, as opposed to just capturing that information, or you are not GDPR compliant. Do you have anything to add to that part, Mark?
No, I agree.
Awesome. Lexi, that's a great question. And any of you guys that have questions for Mark or I, please just pop them down in the comments. We are halfway through right now. It is 1:15. This is a 30-minute show. It goes really, really fast. I appreciate Mark being here. So I want to get to some more questions for Mark. You talk about doing data-driven decisions. You talked about why texting is so important. What about CRM or quote log? Is that important? And I don't know that if many of your clients are actually have a quote log or are entering these leads into a CRM.
Yeah, so again, in order to make data-driven decisions, you have to have a way to measure. And in order to do that, you can't just be scribbling it on a little scratch pad or making notes to yourself. You need to have some sort of, whether it's, even if you're using Excel or Google Sheets, that's better than not entering these quotes in. Every time you get a quote in, if you have a CRM, great. that's customer, what is it, Bill? Customer resource management, I think.
CRM, client relationship management software.
Or client relationship management. That's right. And so that's the best, obviously, if you have something like that, like a Salesforce or a HubSpot, where you can input all of the customer's data into that. It makes it a lot easier when you're, trying to find a particular customer. But for every single quote you do, and especially for the phone calls, because many times I listen to my clients' calls and they don't get any of the customer's information as far as like their email address and things of that nature. You want to be tracking, obviously the name, phone number, email address. You also want to be capturing things like the type of vehicle they requested, what was the occasion, because why would you do that? Well, what if they have an anniversary or birthday? They're probably going to have that in another year, right? So you could go through the 2017 logs, everyone who has a birthday in January, and contact them and offer them some sort of, small discount, for their special event that's coming up.
So, it's interesting that you bring that part up, Mark, because my team and I were just having a discussion this morning, and you're the Google Ads expert, right? But what I'm hearing you say is, hey, we need to take that information for every form request or every quote request, whether it comes in a form on your sales page, or if I get that phone call, and we need to put that into some type of CRM. Could be a Google Sheet, could be an Excel, could be HubSpot, whatever it is. But now you can actually automate the follow-up if you have a CRM, and it doesn't just have to be Google Ads. So I'm 100% concurrent with you, and I like the way you're thinking, my brother, because I'm telling you, now we're talking about integrated marketing to where, and it kind of leads into that next question, because you could actually automate this. If you're using Lead Pages or Instapage or whatever, when that form comes in, zap it into your CRM through Zapier, right? Zap it into a Google Sheet. Zap it into MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, and get that information, like with their anniversary date, their wedding date, whatever that is. Then you can send out an email funnel to start email marketing to them, 3 months before their anniversary comes up. There's a lot of different things that you can do with that information in a CRM. I like the way you're thinking there, Mr. Petrie. So it kind of leads me in, because I think that automation, all that stuff is really, really important. There's been some conversation here in the Limo Growth Group over the last week or so about chatbots. We built an action plan, Chris, was it maybe almost a year ago, about how to leverage chatbots and how to get started using ManyChat. Jordan Sanders from Hollow Sands in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania asks, and this is for you, Mark, have you created any AdWords campaigns that can be more automated in conjunction with platforms such as chatbots to answer basic questions until the lead has a question outside the norm or chatbot conversion and is ready to book? So essentially, to summarize it, have you been using any chatbots with your ads on your sales pages to qualify the lead as opposed to a static form, to where there's some dynamic, if-then logic inside of chatbots to nurture that lead before the booking process?
Yeah, that would, to be honest, that would be more of a question for Bill. I don't do Facebook ads. I just focus on Google ads and Bing ads. And so, is that because chatbots, I've never used them before.
So I guess I'll take that question, Jordan, and it's perfectly fair for what Mark's saying, because that kind of started with Facebook ads, and now you can take ManyChat, the platform, or Chatfuel or whatever, and you can integrate that as opposed to having static forms, on your sales page, and you can have that integration. It's almost like having an AI live chat, on your web page, on your sales page. Jordan, I can tell you, we have not taken it that far yet. We're using chatbots, everything inside of Facebook. We've had discussions. We've seen other people doing it. It's something that we will test probably in early 2019. but we have not done it yet. But man, Jordan, do I like the way you're thinking. That might become my shtick, Mark, for the traffic show. I don't know. I feel like a little Matthew McConaughey, channeling through there. Maybe it's some magic mic that we bring out next Tuesday. So Jordan, I think the short answer is no. Mark or I have not tested that yet. That's something that maybe Mark and I can work on, together with some ads and also Facebook ads. But if you are a Limo University member and you guys are interested in chatbots, there's been a lot of discussion about this. We've got an action plan in your library for you. If not, I would check out ManyChat or ChatFuel. Those are the two dominant ones that you'll want to take a look at.
Bill,
yeah.
Actually, I'd like to say something. So I see this all the time. This is so common. Everyone wants to start doing what's this new strategy, this new tactic, this new thing. And, now it's chatbots. Guys, don't worry about chatbots. The things I just mentioned, if you're not doing them, that's where you start. Don't worry about chatbots. You got to get the basics down before you start going for the advanced stuff. That's my personal opinion. But if you aren't attributing the lead to the specific channel, if you aren't, counting how many quote requests you're doing a day and how many you're actually closing, if you're not doing this stuff, start there. Okay, because shiny object syndrome is very common, I think, with businesses, and there's always a new idea or a new strategy or tactic. But most businesses, they don't have the basics down. Get the basics are everything. Get the basics down first.
I would agree with you 1,000%. Until you have that core implemented, tested, proven, don't move on to the next shiny object. I agree. By the way, that was a pretty cute little phone ring you got going there on your phone.
You like that? Forgot to turn that on silent.
This is one that, I just posted a couple of things while I was in Dallas for my mastermind group and did a live broadcast right here in Limo Growth last week about call tracking. And I know you and I use the exact same platform. Well, there's two really predominant ones, and the one that I recommended to them was PhoneWagon, because of the cost and because of the capabilities, because they can get into PhoneWagon at $25 a month. You've been doing Google Ads about the same time that I have, but I mean, before I started this, I did just for my own company. So having many, many clients and many industries that you're doing this with, tying back to the first topic of discussion, like it's taking most of your clients an hour to pick up the phone and respond. What's the real value of using something like PhoneWagon and call tracking or CallRail?
Sure. Well, number one, Google has call tracking that you can use built in, but it doesn't record the calls and it isn't very accurate. It won't give you an accurate number. The benefit of this call tracking software is you want to know how many phone calls you're getting from your Google ad campaign, and you want to know how many forms you're getting. Also, the recording of the calls is huge, because what I think every owner should be doing, especially whether it's yourself on the phone with these customers or it's a sales agent on the phone with these customers, you should be listening to the calls and really figuring out how you can improve your sales script. And if you don't have a script, you should come up with one, because every sales agent, before they mention the price, I've got lots of clients. A few of them, they have the sales piece down and they close way better than the clients that, you need, a Mercedes S-Class for an airport transfer. It's going to be this much. All right, bye. What you really want to go into is any sort of extras you provide, any sort of benefits that the client gets. You want to have that in your script before you start talking about price, because if you just compete on price, I guarantee you you will lose, because prices will just keep dropping. And if you think of it as just price, then you become a commodity and there's no margin there and you will never grow your company. And so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. And, if I don't think there's very many people in this industry, unless they're operating illegally with, out licensing or the proper insurance, or, they're using IOs versus full-time employees, or not complying with overtime wages. I mean, specifically in the state that you live in, and the employment regulations are the most stringent in the country, along with New York. So one of the questions that we had is what should we talk about to our clients? And I think you kind of just alluded to this. And one of the things that really frustrates me is the number one request that I get from people that reach out to me is, Bill, how do I make my phone ring more? And you mentioned something about scripts. I don't see people, one, recording their calls, two, listening to them to see where a client falls off in the conversation and hangs up, or says, that's great, thank you, I'll get back to you. So they're outside of just the data and the analytics for the Google Ads and the sales pages, they're not tracking their call data as well, and then creating scripts based off what's successful and what's not in their sales process. So the mission for me really since September is really not to introduce any more shiny objects like chatbots to this industry. It's really focusing on that sales process, because that's where I believe you guys are missing everything. And I think Mark would agree. I bet of the people that are watching this, I would challenge 20% of them to copy and paste their scripts, or send me a PM with the scripts that you're using to prove that you have scripts for your CSRs, for yourself. If you're a 1-car, 2-car, 3-car guy and you're driving down the road and you just dropped off a client, I still want to have my script here, so I got my Bluetooth in, right? Or I'm, talking through my car speakers, and I can quickly pull up my script and make sure I'm saying the right thing. Do you agree kind of with that methodology, Mark?
100%. Here's how I like to think about it. So you don't want to think of renting your client a vehicle. That's not what you guys are doing. You're not renting vehicles. What you guys are doing is you're solving problems, okay? And the problem is, how do I move a certain number of people from one location to another location based on the context of the situation? Maybe it's a wedding, maybe it's corporate travel. So how do I move some people from one location to another? And a lot of times, someone might think they know the vehicle they're looking for. Let's say it's a stretch limousine. Okay, I had a client, one of my clients, I listened to one of his calls the other day, and the person called in wanting a stretch limo. And so he said, yeah, that's no problem. We can help you out with that. But what he ended up doing was selling them on a Sprinter, because he told them about all of the benefits of having a Sprinter. There's more room, you can stand up, it's more comfortable. Because you guys have to remember, a lot of, the general public, they don't even know what a Sprinter is, okay? So when someone calls in, hey, I need a stretch limo for 4 hours, find out, oh, okay, awesome, yeah, so what's your event? Oh, okay, you guys are doing a wedding, that's awesome. So how many people are you going to, oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, that's no problem. We have stretch limos, but I'd also like to tell you about another vehicle we have that might be more appropriate for the situation. That is when you go from becoming a commodity to a transportation consultant. Because make no mistake about it, great service starts before they're a client.
I agree with you, man. Mark, you are on your A game today, my friend. I love it. So we've got literally about 35 seconds. This is like a newscast, people. We are done at 30 minutes. We are starting at 1, we're done at 1:30. 15 seconds, Mark. How does everybody get a hold of you if they have more questions about Google Ads?
Yeah, go to clixprofit.com, CLIX, profit, PROFIT. The number's there. You can submit a form, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Add me on Facebook, Mark Petrie. And
or they can call you and you will respond within less than 5 minutes, correct?
Oh, of course, Bill. Come on now.
Awesome. All right, Mark, thank you for joining me. This is the end of the first episode of the Paid Traffic Show. Join us next Tuesday, December 18th, as we're going to talk about why businesses quit Google and Bing ads with Mark specifically, and it's not why you think. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks, Mark. Peace out, everybody.